What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Atomic Drop Podcast. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry, and with me, we got the guys from the Part-Time Marks to my, I guess, I don't know if you're looking on the screen here, what way that would be, but next to me here, we got Mr. Black Lightning Larry here, Larry Burke, and next to him, we got the Professor of Old School Wrestling joining us. We got Eddie Prather, and then the other Part-Time Mark, we got Kurt McGirt. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing this fine, fabulous, warm-ass Saturday night here in Pennsylvania? Eddie, you're always warm in Arizona, but here in Pennsylvania, unseasonable warmth after a couple days of freezing our asses off. So, fellas, how you doing? Larry, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I can't complain about it, man. Blessed, black, and highly favored, and it's Saturday. I made it through another day, so I really can't complain, man. If I wake up, I put 2 feet on the floor, man. I always look at it like, man, it's already going to be a good day. I look in the newspaper. If I don't see my name in the obituary, that's a good thing. And if I don't see my name next to the new births, that's another good thing. I can't complain about it, man. Just ready to mark about some rest.
Absolutely. Eddie, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, Ken. Just getting over the flu, which I had 2 weeks ago, so I know how Paul's feeling like. So I'm finally back to being 100%.
That's right. Mr. Fuji 2.0, our buddy Paul Spencer, a little bit under the weather. Take care, Paul. That's what happens when you work the truck stop glory holes. You catch something, and hopefully that's not what it is. So, Kurt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling all right, man. It's a good day. Kids is chilling. I'm chilling. Ready to talk.
Good to hear. All right, so let's kick this show off, guys. SmackDown. All right, I did not watch Raw this week. I was a little bit busy all week. And I just actually finished watching SmackDown. I was, just a little bit ago. I was watching. I had the Mets on the TV. I had the Kings on the laptop, and I'm watching SmackDown on my phone, taking notes. I'm like, this is ridiculous. What am I doing here? But I did not catch Raw this week, so we're just going to talk SmackDown exclusively, unless there's something you guys want to add from Raw. But opening the show, we had Cody Rhodes coming out. He had Randy Orton came out after him. The crowd was loving it, absolutely. Singing songs. They really belted out Randy's song pretty well. Talking, Randy, talking up Cody and all that good stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to run through the matches here real quick and who won. We had a tag team championship match between the Street Profits and Pretty Deadly. Vontez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. The Street Profits won that match. Pretty Deadly, I thought looked pretty good actually. As much as I hate the tube top, halter top wearing weirdos, they're in their hometown. But so they actually look really good. They got all their stuff in. They look pretty good in front of the hometown. But there was no way they were winning that match. We also had Kaden Carter and Katana Chance versus the Secret Purvis. I swear to God, they kept saying Purvis. I'm like, are they saying perverts? Purvis? What are they saying? The Secret what? It was the Secret Purvis. Alba Fire and Piper Niven. Then they had Chelsea Green out there with them. The Secret Purvis ends up winning that match over Carter and Chance. Carter and Chance looked really good. Give props to the Secret Purvis as well. Alba Fire and Piper Niven. Piper Niven getting athletic on us a couple times there. But, of course, Chelsea Green interjects herself. And then we also have, what the hell's her name? Who came down to interfere? Who came in to attack Chelsea then?
Meechin.
Was Meechin or no?
No, they're little Puerto Rican.
Zelina Vega.
Vega, yes. Thank you. All right, then we had Braun Strowman versus LA Knight for the U.S. Championship. And
My bad, Curtis. He said a little Puerto Rican. That was the only thing that can come out. Sorry.
That's all I could picture. I'd say, like, you know what? I don't know. I can't think of her name. We had Braun Strowman versus LA Knight for the U.S. Championship. It wasn't a bad match. I mean, you have a big guy and LA Knight's a decent sized guy, but not compared to Braun Strowman. But of course, that's interrupted by Jacob Fatu just destroying Braun Strowman. He nicked up LA Knight a little bit. But LA Knight was kind of smart. He kind of got out of there after he got walled by Jacob Fatu. But Fatu laid some wood to Braun Strowman. We also had Meechin versus Charlotte Flair. B-Fab was down there with Meechin, and B-Fab got her B-Fab ass kicked by Naomi. And Meechin and Charlotte Flair, a pretty good match. Meechin I thought was pretty much on top the whole time. Charlotte Flair finished off with the figure 8. Good match. A good match for Meechin. It really showcased her, I thought. Orton versus McIntyre. It was an all right match. I really didn't, get into it too much, which is surprising. So I thought those two guys would really go, but that wasn't really me. I wasn't really into it too much. And we had Jimmy and Miz. Anyway, McIntyre ends up winning that match. KO came down, distracted Randy, and Drew finishes it off with his what the fuck is it?
Claymore.
The Claymore. Thank you very much. The drop kick where he falls on his back. That's what it is if you ask me. It's a running drop kick where he kind of falls on his back.
It's originally called a sick kick. That was the original name of it, and then
really?
It was originally called the sick kick, and then I guess it evolved itself over the years to something.
Okay. I like Claymore. I do like the name Claymore
because it fits for his gimmick.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like Daniel Bryan's shotgun drop kick.
And exactly, it's actually exactly kind of like, well, not exactly, but it is kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Jimmy versus The Miz, Jimmy Uso versus The Miz. Jimmy wins that match. Not a bad match. Usually you have The Miz. Miz seems to be the
carrier. That's
Miz is definitely the carrier, and he's taking the pinfall for most of the time. That's what I'm trying to say.
Miz just does his job. That's what
he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
And then to finish out the night, we had the contract signing between Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. So all that spirited stuff there, and a whole bunch of stuff in between, which we'll get to a couple of things. But we'll start it off at the beginning of the show with Cody opening the show, and then Randy, and then Drew McIntyre interrupting. So, Larry, you want to kick that one off for us? Cody coming down, talking to the crowd, and then you had Randy coming down and really just, really building Cody up, which I thought was a good thing because, Randy's saying he's getting sentimental. They kind of go way back to the days where you had what was their little faction name? It was Randy
Legacy.
You had Randy, you had Cody, and you had DiBiase, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So go ahead. Talk on that a little bit if you'd like. What you thought that promo was.
Honestly, I think it was like a minor build to something a little bit later on. I felt like we're getting to something because, like I said, right at the beginning of this, I mean, Kurt, no sooner he came back, Kurt was already saying like, man, we can get Randy and we could get, we can get Cody. Which is obviously, like you just said, the story's there. So Randy building him up like that, it definitely threw me off. I was like, man, he really went into the big build up. He really gassed him up, which obviously you do need a couple guys that does do that to gas Cody, make people not forget what Cody has been doing this last year or some change, because he has really been carrying the company. He has been doing it very, very well. So to see somebody pointing that out, especially somebody like Randy, I thought it was like a super good, solid promo. And then again, Drew McIntyre, he hasn't missed on a promo probably in the last year or so. He's always completely spitting facts, whether it's coming out the right way or not at all. So I thought that was a good start to the beginning, but I think at some point we're gonna get. Because everybody's been turning against Cody. So at what point is Randy gonna have enough of this too? And like I said, he kind of threw his name in the hat for a championship spot at some point. So I think we might have something there.
Absolutely. Real quick, Adam Glenn says, "What's up? What's up, Adam Glenn?" He also says Miz is a jobber. Paul Spencer checking in. He says, "Hello, family. I still have no damn voice." Like I said, Paul, stay away from them truck stop glory holes. There's other ways to make money, buddy. I'm telling you. All right, Eddie, what were your thoughts on the promo?
I thought it was just another great promo out of Cody. He's been really nailing his promos the last 3 weeks, either with Cena and then last night with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Randy, I'm glad that Randy brought it up after he praised Cody up. He let Cody know that he wants number 15.
Yeah, throwing it out there, the number of title wins he had, and he's aiming towards. I thought that was a good point too. Just because everybody's talking about the Cena 17 now. You have to remember that Randy's not that far behind. So, Randy's won a lot of titles in his career. So I thought that was actually a really good uh, recall, if you will, by Randy Orton there. Kurt, go ahead. What were your thoughts on this promo?
Man, it was gold, but it was expected when you get two guys like Randy and Cody in the ring together who have that kind of history, the mentor mentee relationship, which is now like you're on, well, not even, you can't even say the same level because Cody's the champion now. You know what I'm saying? But you see it, it's there. You see it coming. They're putting seeds for what's going to happen with them in the future, and I'm excited for it because Randy is my goat. I don't know if I ever said this on. That's my goat, and you got Cody, who's one of the favorites right now. It's pure heat. A lot of people's coming with pure heat. I haven't been disappointed with much of anything, really.
Absolutely, yeah, and there's no reason why Cody shouldn't be a good talker, especially being the son of Dusty Rhodes, really. So it's not surprising that his promos are usually fire. Randy, he's been in the game such a long time. His promos are always fire. Then you interject Drew, who's just been on a roll for quite a few years now. It was a great way to start the show. And the whole thing with Cody saying after Randy saying to Cody after Cody beats Cena, pointing at the title, he goes, I'd like a shot at 15 and all that good stuff. And I think, to be honest, I think, we could be looking at maybe a Randy or Cena, Randy Cena maybe as well. If Cena does win that'd be pretty awesome to have your 17-time champ against 14-time champ looking to go 15 and what have you. And the next PLE premium live event for WWE after WrestleMania is in St. Louis. So, I mean, that's Randy's hometown. So, I mean, it would be perfect, really, when you think about it. And why not? I mean, I don't know how close Randy is to this, but why not have some sort of retirement match? I mean, again, that's a kind of a gimmick. I don't know how close Randy is to that, but he's been getting injured a lot lately. Backs and necks and stuff like that. Shit, you don't really want to mess with that, especially when you're getting later in your life and with little kids and stuff. And it's something that kind of brings the reality to the forefront. So I wonder if that's ever a possibility. Because what better way to go out there in front of your hometown crowd? But again, that's all kind of closed, and I don't expect it, but that'd be pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously story there. I think Randy still has actually a lot of time left now.
Yeah,
especially with him. They're keeping him as limited as possible too. You know what I mean? Because I think he knows his time. That's why he was doing the tag team work there for a while there too, because just because of the protecting himself. But I mean, there's like Kurt said, there's so many stories there. I mean, you definitely want to see. You do want to get probably another Cena and Orton feud. I mean, that's obviously there. I mean, obviously, Orton's been liking to work the younger guys too. If you can't really tell lately, he's been really I mean, with the Evans on NXT, he was working with Mello a little bit there. So he's liking working with these younger guys too, and especially he's kind of giving these younger guys the rub because you know what their goal is it's probably the same thing as who can take the best RKO. You know what I mean? Because these guys, because it's a competition. I mean, there's still RKOs we talk about from years ago. Now you got these new, innovative young kids who's more talented than a Seth Rollins and more talented than a Evan Bourne. And these are some of the best ever RKOs. If you bring them up, they're some of the best ever. But now you got a Mello who can, who can spike himself and make it look nasty. And then you got guys like Evans who tried to do the super spinny thing he does and land in it. And it didn't quite hit as well, but we had a feeling it was going to happen. You know what I mean? So he's kind of playing with the young guys for a while. So I think Orton will be around for a little bit. I just don't see it yet. But like I said, there's some layers there. And who knows when happy-go-lucky Orton's going to go away again. Because, this is not something we see all the time. So eventually we're going to get the Mad Randy again, and we'll have some problems. Obviously, he's Mad Randy now with this Kevin Owens thing, but he's still playing to the crowd.
Yes.
We know he's never really a face though. So
That Viper can turn on at any time. So
yeah, he's never a face. I mean, he's like
yeah.
it's kind of like Austin. People still think Austin was never a face. You know what I mean? Everything he did was heelish. It just came out in a good way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It's very relatable to a lot of people,
it's very relatable.
to
Exactly.
what
Good call.
people wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? It's what people
Yeah.
wanted to do. They lived through Austin.
Yep. So, and people kind of live through Randy too. You know what I mean? Because everybody loves that whole like he doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? And he'll snap at the drop of a dime. So, eventually, I think we're gonna get old angry Randy again, and we might get him and Rhodes, and we might get him and Cena again before this year's up.
You have
Well,
to
he
get
might
him.
be a face going against Cena, which he never did that. So
Yeah.
That would be
that's your
different.
switch. That would be real different. He's never, and I mean, like we just said, he's not really a face, but him playing more the face role would definitely be something I would love to see this year.
Anybody else? Eddie?
I, if Cena wins the belt at Mania, I would let him hold the belt to closer to the pay-per-view before the pay-per-view before some Survivor Series. I would have Randy Orton beat Cena. Cena keeps on hiding, dodging Cody, and that can set up. If Randy has the belt, that can set up maybe by the next WrestleMania Cody heel turn against his mentor. Instead, everybody's talking about Randy turning on Cody. How about the other way around? Cody turning on Randy.
Wouldn't that be something after Randy saying, he wouldn't kick Cody in the nuts or whatever? He would, come to his face like, like dirty old John Cena. Wouldn't that be something if Cody kicked Randy in the nuts and, challenged him like that? If that were be to the turn there where where for some reason Randy had the belt and Cody wanted to challenge him, next WrestleMania or whatever, because John Cena's done in December, right? That's his last month supposedly to retire. Which we all still believe he's going to retire. I still believe he's going to retire. I think he's
I
done.
think he's a man of his word.
Yeah. I agree that he's talked about it off camera for WWE. Like he's talked about it at film red carpets and stuff like that. And so yeah, I do believe he's done. But I think it goes till December. So you have all that time where I do believe he's going to win at WrestleMania. I think he's going to hold the title up until his very last match or last premium live event. Whether that's in December or November, and then you get the good guy John Cena, with the kissing babies and whatnot.
One last
to finish it off. Yeah,
one last time. Yeah, I could see him win. I could see him winning it, and like you said, yeah, carrying it for a couple good months because I mean, there's some good stories you can get out within that time. I'm pretty sure if he's gonna win it, if he does win it, we know then like he's gonna take some time away from the movies. I think he'll put more time into WWE just because, like you said, he is going to try to get these last couple shows out of there. You know what I mean? That's why we're going to be at these bigger places within, like I said, I think that's probably why they opened up that schedule a little bit more too now with like Pittsburgh being on the schedule and, all these other places because it's going to be probably your last chance to get to see Cena. So I think they opened up these dates. I think to possibly have him win it. Like you said, there's because it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt Cody to take a loss to Cena. It doesn't hurt him. They got him to the point now. They got him to the point now where no losses is technically going to hurt him. And he's smart enough to figure out how to take the loss without it not affecting the character. And I don't think Cena would. He's not the type to like, okay, I'm going to beat you, and you're going to look like dog shit.
Yeah,
there's going to be a good story behind it and how they follow it up from that point on.
Yeah, he's not gonna defect to AEW because he lost to Cena. He'll be all right and he'll be able to overcome it, and the crowd will still be behind him and singing his song and what have you. But yeah, and he will always be in that chase for the world championship as well. He'll always be that the main event chase up until Cena's gone, and and like I said, I like Eddie's thought with next WrestleMania, possibly being headlined by Randy and Cody, and it would be something if Cody, turned on Randy. That would be something too. Kurt, your thoughts?
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
talking about, because I thought we was just talking about Cody and Randy.
Yeah, yeah. Then yeah, that's what I mean. Like if like what were your thoughts? What would your thoughts be if in the future, okay, let's say Cena wins at WrestleMania, Cody's titleist, he goes through his run here and he ends up losing to Randy to turn the belt over, and then you end up with Randy and Cody heading into next year's WrestleMania. What would your thoughts be on something like that? And maybe having Cody turn heel, like you wait for Randy, turn to the Viper. What if you have Cody turn heel on
But
Randy,
see,
and do the whole, you
I
know,
always
thing?
in my head I pictured it being Cody and Randy at the next WrestleMania. I never thought for it to be heel Cody and
Yeah,
face Randy, because a guy like me, I want to see a heel Randy. But I like the idea of that, because it goes back to this promo that we just had,
yeah.
where you have Cody turning and stabbing Randy in the back or kicking him in the nuts, and it's what they've been doing with the long term storytelling, planting seeds. Yeah, I'm all for that. I'm all
I
for
mean,
it. I think Cena's going to get the belt. He's going to hold it. They're supposed to be having a special pay-per-view for him in December. I feel
Did you
like
say
that would
ruthless
be,
aggression?
yeah, something. I think it's supposed to be called Ruthless Aggression or something like that. I think we talked about this. I would have him turn again. I'm pretty sure I would book him in the War Games match, because I don't think he's ever had a War Games match. I would book him in the War Games match, and I would turn him back in the War Games match
Hmm. I like
the
that.
month before his
yeah,
last pay per view.
it'd be smart because then you'd be able to go out with your John Cena that everybody knows and loves, and you get the little kids back on his side before it's
Yeah,
all said and done, before he rides off into the sunset. And I mean, I could see it in my head right now. If it would end up being like a John Cena and Randy Orton to be John's last match, and where Randy
John
takes
Cena
the
and
belt
Randy
from him,
Orton at that
th-
last pay per view.
then you have
That's
Cody out
that's the
there hugging him,
perfect main
just
event.
like John Cena did did the Cody in front of the Rock, and all of a sudden Cody kicks him in the nuts, and
Yep.
I mean, it'd be
Yeah,
perfect. It'd
I,
be call back. Everything's all there. Everything's done for a reason in WWE.
yeah.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right. And let's not forget, he still owes Randy for slapping his dad. You remember when
Oh
he
yeah.
slapped?
Oh
Do
Yeah.
you remember when he slapped Dusty?
Hey,
And he
it's all gonna
basically
come back.
and he
Yeah,
told Cody, you're not going to do anything about it. And so, I mean, that's something to consider in the future. But guys, have you noticed how much merchandise is John Cena selling right now? Are you guys noticing how much John Cena gear is in the crowds right now?
This is
I'm
this is the
noticing more
last.
John Cena gear than Cody and Yeet shirts right now. I mean, is it because
John
it's these
Cena.
last t-shirts? The merchandise is still crazy considering he's a heel and he's only coming out doing these 10 to 15-minute promos. But man, I'm like, I noticed the other night, I said, oh my God, the merchandise sales is crazy for John Cena right now.
Well, and I think there's a couple factors going into it. I feel like because it's his last run, and also they're in Europe, so they don't get to see it that often. They don't get to see him that often, and all the new shirts are there on sale
Good
outside
call.
the in the shops and stuff like that there at the arena.
Good call.
And
Good call.
I think that's a lot of to do with that, but also because it's his last run. I mean, it really is. It's part of the nostalgia of it all. And hey, I was there. The last time John Cena was ever going to wrestle in London or Brussels or wherever the hell else it was. And
Yep.
to be honest with you, there are actually some pretty neat looking shirts. With the color, the color variations with it. You don't have the brightness to it. I really like the one with Brussels. I think it was like a brown, yellow, and orange, maybe, or something like
Mhm.
that. It was, with the colors of the flags, maybe, or something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I think that there's a couple factors that go into that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
hey
Yeah.
Larry, I believe then Randy also, it was either he punt kicked Dusty or was it an RKO after he slapped him. He
Um,
really laid Dusty out.
I do remember him. I'm not exactly sure if it was an RKO or a punt kick. It might have been. That might have been kind of. Well, yeah, because he was still kind of doing the Legend Killer stuff during the
Very,
Legacy phase, right? I would
yeah,
say
that's
that's
when
what.
he was kicking everybody in the head at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And
I'm
he
not
got
sure,
Randy
but
back.
I do. I
There,
just remember vaguely the promo of him smacking him, and he looked at Mick Cody and told him, like, you won't do anything about it. So, like you guys said, I think that's gonna factor back. This is gonna come back at some point in time. We're gonna be like, hey, remember we brought this up? And I yeah, so it's going to be quite interesting to see where this goes because Kurt said months ago, "Oh man, we're going to get Cody and Randy." So I didn't even think about Cody and Cena at Mania like right away. I was more focused on what we were going to get out of this because I thought Randy might be a heel by now, but he's on this good run. So.
All right. So speaking of Randy again, so the Randy Cody promo was interrupted by Drew McIntyre, and Drew's out there, and one of the, he said to Randy about, mentioning his back and his neck and all that stuff, and talking about his physique, saying, hey, you look great on the outside, it's the inside that you're all fragile and stuff. So that leads to a match between Drew and Randy. It was a what the hell? All right, Eddie. Hey, what's going on, Ed? You're good, man. So yeah.
Just
So
went off there for a second.
That's what she said. So anyway, you had Drew and Randy. So that led to a match. It wasn't a very long match, but it was still a match. And Drew ends up getting the Claymore on Randy because interruption by KO. So you had KO out there, and you had Randy. Actually, Randy got the best of KO. He almost was able to punt KO against the barrier there before KO hopped the barrier and ran off into the sunset. And Randy tried to pursue, but he was stopped by 2 guards. So I mean, we see stuff like that. We have 8 guards or 9 guards, and then guys are fighting through them, and Randy gets stopped by 2 guards. So I mean, it is what it is. But whenever I see that, I'm kind of like, wow. We see the women, bust through 8 or 9 guards, and there's Randy can't get through 2 of them. So what were your thoughts on KO interrupting that match? And I thought Randy came out looking a little bit better than KO this time. Eddie, you want to start that one off?
It was a match that did its job. The job was to get KO involved, and I was very. It keeps on wanting me get that punt kick in on KO. Kick his head back to Canada. Hopefully it happens at Mania.
Well, yeah, that's what they're doing, man. They're teasing it.
Am I cutting out?
No, you're good.
I can hear you. It's just so we can be like, man, almost. And when that moment comes at Mania, and he finally gets the punt kick in, it's a feel good moment for everybody.
It's going to be satisfying. It's when you're looking for that satisfaction, that payoff, and then they keep extending that storyline. Keep bringing Kevin down with a slow walk, interrupting Randy, and it's just it's building it. They're doing a great job, but it's a slow build, I guess you'd call it. Where they're not really getting a hold of each other, but they are still getting a hold of each other, just not in a major way. Larry, your thoughts?
Oh, my bad, man.
Oh, you are cutting out.
Yeah. Okay. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. So where were we at? My bad about that. I cut out.
So I just mentioned about we had the Drew and Randy match, and then KO interrupting, distracting Randy, and then Randy kind of getting the best of KO, and then KO running off and Randy being stopped.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts about building the storyline up as well?
Oh yeah, like you said, just like a good build because obviously you don't want. Yeah, they want to savor it for the big moment. Like you said, we're probably going to get. I still don't think he's going to get that punt kickoff unless he's going to take a good little break. Unless KO has a break coming, which he could be possibly having a break coming. So I don't know if he's actually going to get the punt kickoff. I think they just want to keep selling it to let. I think that's something Randy's just going to add back into his dimension. I don't think he's going to do it just yet. I think there's going to be something there for me because I mean, if he punts him, we're probably going to lose KO probably for like 2 months or so. We'll probably lose it for at least a good month.
It's all right.
Yeah, it is after Mania because they have. I guess you're right about that too, Kurt. Because then they'll have the draft a couple weeks later, so he'll pop back up. Yeah, I guess you're kind of right about that, Kurt. So yeah, I think it's just like you said, a slow burn for us. So we might get the punt kick then. I guess you kind of convinced me now. We might get the punt kick, but I mean, it's not necessarily needed. But it'll be a good match to have like early, probably night 1 on Saturday night of WrestleMania.
I think it'd be a good way to kick it off. I think that wouldn't be a bad match to kind of kick it off. You have a nice, some pretty good heat to that feud, and It wouldn't be necessarily a bad way to kick it off.
I think they're going to honestly start with Gunther and Jey Uso.
I agree. I seen somebody, I don't know where it was, if it was in our group chat or if it was online somewhere. I think it was online somewhere about a slap in the face to Jey Uso that he's not main eventing night 1 or night 2. And they said the champions always main event night 1, night 2. And I just recalled to last year, night 1 wasn't main evented by a championship match.
It was
You had the tag team match, between The Rock.
Title.
Yeah, I mean, so it was.
And Seth lost the belt early to the first match to Drew.
And night 2, yeah. So I mean,
was it night 2 or it was night 2.
Yeah, it was night 2. So I mean, like it's quite a few times the WrestleMania has been kicked off with a world title match or WWE Championship match or whatever the hell you want to call it. So that thought behind it is just doesn't make any sense. It's not an every year thing where both nights
People
are
just want to pick.
Yeah, and so
what I'm saying is you're not going to not have Roman Reigns in a main event. I don't care. I don't care if he has a title or not.
Not just Roman Reigns, but having CM Punk and Seth Rollins also involved.
It's a marquee match.
That's
Absolutely.
star power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we talked about this weeks ago because that's what I said. I said, well, is he actually still going to be considered main event Jey Uso when we don't think he's going to main event Mania?
He's still wrestling for the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I was going to ease up on him. I'm going to stop knocking him because I mean I get it, man. He's in that position right now where I mean we're just gonna have to let it go because I mean you got to strike while the iron's hot.
Come on,
So
man. If we should have been saying the same thing about Seth and Drew last year, then if that's the case, like they opened up the show with the World Championship.
Yeah.
There's 2 matches you want to be involved with if you're a wrestler: the opening match or the main event. To me, the opening match is as important as the main event because it sets the tone.
Absolutely.
Give me the second match any day of the week. I got something to prove.
Me wrestling personally, I did like to open the show because I would always like to see who can follow me because I know I'm going to go out there and probably do a little bit more than what I was supposed to do. So I would like to I did like to open, but I also, like I said, I didn't mind the second match of the night too, because now you got a good taste of who started the show. So now you can either reset the tone or you know what I mean, or you can keep the fire going. So it is there. I honestly, I've always been fully against the slow burn. I feel like every match should be a main event match. I feel like everybody should take every single match like it's a main event match. I know that you can't technically do that, but I think you should definitely work like every match is your last match. I've always felt that way.
Well, so every night I go to work, that's how I look at it. I go to work and I'm like, this could be my last night working, and then I start crying when I realize it won't be. So it's one of those deals. Like, God damn it, I still got 30 years yet.
Man, I still got a long time to go.
So all right, so we'll move on. So we just talked about Randy and Drew. So we'll move on again. How about Drew and being attacked by Damian Priest and getting his ass thrown into a car windshield and screaming about his eye? So he probably has a glass eye now, saying he has glass in his eye. Well, yeah, I guess okay, glass eye. But anyway, so yeah, is that a work or what are we doing here? A good spot there, making Priest look super strong. I thought he came off of that really well. So what are your thoughts on that? Kurt, you want to kick us off this time?
The first thing I thought about was the real glass incident with CM Punk and Jack Perry in AEW. I don't know if it's like a
Go Cry Me a River.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a work callback to that, but I like the segment. I liked it. To see like Damian put Drew down is like, all right, yeah.
Right, and he called him what do you call him? Eyeliner wearing Timu Undertaker, which I thought was fantastic. I just got yelled at by my wife the other day for buying tons of crap off of Timu, so I thought that was a great callback for them on my behalf. So I appreciate that when they did that for me.
Yeah.
Larry?
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it was Kurt's right about that. I felt like he needed this because he's obviously been getting his ass kicked by Drew. And not only has he been getting his ass kicked, Drew has been assaulting him on the microphone, like you said. So it's like the 2-for-1 deal. And and I don't even think it was just about him actually putting him through the car windshield. I think it was actually about him sneaking that one-liner in there saying like, "Rest in peace, bitch." Because like you said, they called him calling him the Timu Undertaker. So I felt like he kind of needed that one-liner. I was like, okay, I'm a little more invested now because he's been getting his ass beat like week after week by Drew, and then again he was assaulting him on the microphone too. So I'm like, man, what are we really getting out of this story?
Yeah.
So, like I said, him putting him through the windshield, him having a good one-liner. Now I've been trying to figure out because I watched it like 3 times, and I'm just like, how could have he gotten glass in his eye from that? But I mean, there is the possibility that it could have happened because it's all over the internet that there is glass in his eye from that. So I was kind of like, did this really get him, or are we just adding to the story? But I thought it was a good spot for Damian. I thought he needed it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I thought he came off looking pretty good. I felt like he looked like a good, strong, angry Damian Priest, which I think takes it up another couple levels. Eddie, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was well done, and I thought he said "rest in peace, jackass."
Maybe he did. Yeah, maybe he did.
Yeah, it sounds the same. Drew, jackass, it's all the same.
Yeah, just that Drew had Damian had to get his payback on. You couldn't go 3 weeks in a row with Drew beating up on Damian.
No, it's true. It has been all one-sided so far with this this little feud, and Damian had to get his licks in somewhere just because there wasn't really built like what makes you care about this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was nothing that really made you like, hey, I got to see this match. These guys are really at each other. It's been like, oh, here's Drew and this, the phony baloney Undertaker. Everybody, kind of calls him Undertaker, and they mention it all the time on the show. Undertaker was his mentor or whatever. He goes, so they're not doing him any favors. Michael Papernick checking in. He said, I heard Drew has a knee issue for a while, so maybe this is a way to get Drew time off. I haven't heard anything like that, but referring back to the glass in the eye thing, I don't know. I think it might be just part of the show, the glass in the eye, just because when who was walking by, was it Punk? Yeah, Punk was walking by, I think, and kind of looked over at him, and he was still laying on the hood, and they were looking at him. I feel like if it was something more serious, they would have had him off the hood and already in to see the medic or whatever the hell they have there. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe they're like, hey, you got to sit, you got to lay here for another 30 seconds yet, bro. So I don't know. Your thoughts on the Drew possibly having a knee injury? Anybody want to throw in on that?
I'll say I didn't hear anything on that one, so somebody might be a little bit ahead of us. I'll check with my sources. I'm sure I have a good source who usually does all the little homework for me. So I'll see if he heard anything. But the knee injury, that's kind of new to me. So I don't know. Kurt, you hear anything about that?
No, I ain't heard nothing about that, but never know.
Drew's been a real warrior since the pandemic. I don't think he's really had that much time off. Maybe it's a way to get. He probably could use a rest. I can see Damian Priest winning at Mania over Drew, for Drew to be able to go off TV for a while.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wouldn't be surprised if a couple guys get a break after Mania.
Yeah, that usually does happen where you do see a couple guys, absent for a few months afterwards, and you usually don't either see them until the run to SummerSlam or even maybe a little bit later. But yeah, that wouldn't be too shocking. Because Drew, Eddie, you're right. Drew has been pretty much a warrior since the pandemic, and you see him quite a bit. I'm sure he's had some time off, but it hasn't been a whole lot. Real quick before we move on from Drew, calling back to the Cody, Orton, and Drew spot in the beginning of the show, I thought I got a kick out of it when Drew was saying that they talked more about his 5-minute title reign than they do about Randy Orton's comeback. I got a kick out of that. I thought that was funny too. I just remembered that for some reason. It popped in my head.
Yeah, good spot in the promo. Good spot. I mean, he's calling out everything out. I mean,
yeah. He's been really good. Like him or hate him, I always feel like Drew has been really good in any spot that they put him in, whether it's dropping a title in 5 minutes or being the whiny guy since then basically. And it's been really he's been good. He's been really good.
Yeah, I didn't like him at all up until literally. I always hated the only thing, like I said, me and Kurt used to laugh. I would be like, man, the only thing I like about this guy is his entrance music. I'm always like, his entrance music is too good for him. Every time I hear his entrance music, I'm like, man, I love this music, but him. But literally, ever since, like I said, ever since WrestleMania, he's definitely probably been in my I'm like, man, I'm excited for what he's gonna do next.
Larry probably thought that entrance music should have gone to Sheamus.
Probably, yeah, but I like Sheamus's music too. I've always been like a fan of Sheamus's music. I feel like it fits him. But yeah, sometimes, man, I'm just like, man, this dude is so hard, but there's something missing. But I think it, like you said, I think the whole crybaby angle shit just doesn't go my way. Fits him perfectly. I love it. So when he does get that championship, it's going to be big. It's definitely going to be big.
Michael says unless they're going to be a blackout match, Damian Drew at Mania.
He thinks it's going to be a dark match. He thinks it's going to be early.
I assume they're gonna fight at Mania, right? Are they booked for Mania yet?
I think they're booked for Mania. I think they just showed it on SmackDown or something the other day. I would say they're booked for Mania.
Yeah,
but that could be an early match. They still do have some early. We just talked about them possibly having like some dark matches for Mania. Those kickoff matches.
Well, it could be one of those where like, well, you need to have Peacock plus in order to see the first 5 minutes of the show or whatever. You know what I mean? Like because like when I watch a PLE on Peacock. I don't get the behind the scenes stuff. I get commercials. It's like, oh, if you want the exclusive content, you need to subscribe. I'm like, you know what, man? It's like, twist my nipples and kick me in the nuts or something. What do you want from me?
Yeah, you want all my money. What did you say, Kurt? Did you say? I heard you say something about
What was it about? I forget.
It was on this topic. Oh, was it about I heard you like it was about either the dark matches or something.
Oh, I said we're gonna have to wake up at 9 for NXT. Stand and Deliver. It's on at 9.
Oh, Stand and Deliver's on at 9 in the morning. Is that the Saturday or Sunday?
Night 1, yeah.
Night 1. Oh man, that's a little early to be watching wrestling.
Where's that at?
I'm probably gonna be up anyway, huh?
It's gonna be in Vegas too.
It's gonna be in Vegas, but it's they're having it the same weekend as WrestleMania, so it's in the morning.
Well, so I mean, so if it's in Vegas, is it 9 a.m. Vegas time or 9 a.m. our time?
9 a.m. Vegas time. So
okay, so for us, it'd be would that 11 or no? That'd be 12. That'd be noon.
It'd be 12.
Yeah, that'd be noon our time. Because if it's in Vegas, if it's 9 a.m. here, it'd be 6 a.m. in Vegas, and
yeah, it'll be
6 a.m. in
Vegas. Yeah, it'll be 6 a.m. in Vegas, bro. They're 3 hours behind. So
I would assume it's 9 a.m. Vegas then. So. All right, maybe we don't have to wake up so early.
Yeah,
noon can be early on Saturday. I don't know.
Yeah, because last year it came on about 1 o'clock. I said
12:01, yeah.
It was like 12:01. So, man, it's just so hard to watch all that wrestling in one day, man. After a while, you just want to kind of like take. But maybe they're having it a little early. Maybe they're having it an hour earlier this year. That way, there is a little bit of a break in between.
Gonna do it. The Stand and Deliver is going to be good.
It is. It's going to be really good. NXT don't miss.
All right. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Jacob Fatu interfering in the Braun Strowman LA Knight match, which I assume we all thought that he was going to. It just seems inevitable with Strowman and Fatu head-on collision here. Are we going to see a three-way match between Jacob Fatu, Strowman, LA Knight for the U.S. Championship at Mania? Or are we going to see just a Strowman Fatu one-off, or what are we going to see there? And also Jacob laying into Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa afterwards. If you guys want to throw your thoughts there, we'll start off with Larry this time.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because it sounds like obviously he's going for the U.S. title, but now he kind of during that promo that you just brought up. He kind of said something about him and Strowman, last man standing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of confused by this because he already killed Strowman a few weeks ago. Like, he's already pretty much killed him, and we've seen him kill him. So for them to have a last man standing match is a little bit odd. But I think there was like a key in there, like, he's taking control now. He's definitely fully taking control because he kind of looked at Tama and said something along the lines of, like, you're either with me, and then he looked at Solo, was like, or you're not. So I think he's fully gonna like take the reins, and obviously I do think at some point he's gonna get a championship because
He's
this crowd is fully behind him. I mean, there's regardless to him being a heel or not, him doing whatever he's doing, they love him. You know what I mean? They're chanting Fatu. They love the promos. Um, so yeah, I guess we're gonna. I just don't understand why we're gonna. If we're gonna get a triple threat match, are we? Or are we gonna get this last man standing match? I was kind of just a little baffled by that, but obviously, I think he's on the hot train right now, and I think everyone knows it, and I think he's gonna be a champion soon.
Kurt, what are your thoughts?
I really feel like we're gonna get it's we're building up to him and Solo because you know, Solo feeling some type of way. He's like, man, you better watch your tone. Hey, boy. Bro, I laughed a big laugh there because what? Talking to the werewolf, boy. Uh, nicely done segment, man. He needs to break off on his own, man. He has so much potential, man. Like he's definitely getting that U.S. title.
And he did say that during the promo. He it was kind of confusing because like, was he just going one on one with Braun? It's gonna be last man standing. Then he also said, "I'm gonna bring that U.S. championship back to the family." So he did mention that. Eddie, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the way that Braun got beat down on SmackDown, I think he
Again?
won't be. I don't think he will be at Mania. I think it was such a beat down that I think there's a chance of there being a LA Knight against Jacob, but this is where I see Tama and Solo kind of screwing Jacob over and costing the title at Mania that was set up to break Jacob away from them.
Yeah, and I agree. That's one of the routes that I was thinking too, Eddie. I was thinking that there's a possibility that he said either you're with me, and he looked at Solo and said, or you're not. And the way he talked to Solo disrespectfully, Solo was the one who wore the chili pepper necklace. So so there was that. He was in charge at one point. So so for in order for him to break off, you'd have to figure that Solo would have to turn on him again. You would have to screw him out of that title again, and that would just be it. He'd all go werewolf on their asses, and that'd be it. So yeah, I really do. I feel like he's not going to get that title yet. And that's how you get him separated from the bloodline, and that's how you get him in a solo feud. So yeah, go ahead, Eddie. You were going to say something else?
Yeah, Jacob is the type of wrestler that doesn't need a title. First of all, you would have to find a way to get a belt off him, which would be almost impossible. It's like that's why like Andre the Giant never really had any titles. It's how are you going to take a title off Andre when you're a monster, a badass like Jacob Fatu? You don't.
I mean, if you can figure
You're a
out how
made
to
man.
get a title off Brock Lesnar, you can figure out how to get a title off Jacob.
Michael Papernick checks in. He says, I'm confused with Solo, Tama, and Jacob. As those three were together, and then Solo left, Tama and Jacob were together, and now Solo and Tama are together. Confusing. So I think Solo left after Mania, kind of tucked his tail and ran after he lost the chili pepper necklace. He was upset. Things got a little bit. Things weren't as spicy as they were before for Solo. So he left. So it was just that's all that was left there was Tama and Jacob, and just like we all agree, Jacob is the shooting star here. So Tama got left behind. But he still viewed Solo as his tribal chief, as his leader. So when Solo came back, Tama just assumed his position next to Solo, whereas Jacob saying, these nuts, man, I'm bigger than you guys are now, and you're following me. I'm taking this to the next level, and Solo is fighting that tooth and nail so far. So that's what I think. Well, what are you guys' thoughts on that comment there?
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, Jacob has that. He has that Haku aura around him that says, "Hey, are you with me? Somebody's gonna get hurt."
Yeah, absolutely. Don't F around with me.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't need anybody. We could see he just became the shining star way faster than I'm sure. And like I said, like I said, Kurt used to tell me this all along. Like, oh, if we get him in the WWE, this is going to be a problem. Like, and then like I said, I still every week I'm just like, I can't believe that he just walked in and made it look so easy because you never see this. Like, I don't know if it was just always in his plan. Like, hey, when I get there, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to say. But I mean, his first promo, he caught himself a catchphrase. He caught himself two catchphrases in one promo. Yep. Yada the mean and the all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes.
He went from having one t-shirt of just a silhouette like werewolf to him having 3 and 4 t-shirts all within a couple months. He's a heel. He got the whole crowd behind him. And like it's almost amazing to watch because like I said, I mean, you know, like I said, I've been watching this shit 30 something years solid. And I've never seen a guy walk in there physically and whatever they ask him to do, he's been able to do it. And it's just straight to the moon with it. I mean, you see a couple guys like that, you know what I mean? But it's very rare that you just come from the indies or you come from somewhere else, which most likely if you went to AEW, you were already in WWE or something, that you just become this shining star just this fast. So he's on a high rise, like you said. He doesn't need anybody, but I think it hurts Solo and it hurts Tama more than anything.
The only one guy I can think of that was like Jacob just walking in and just kicking ass right away with a Kurt Angle.
Yeah, he figured it out. He definitely figured it out. He was one of those guys. I will say that because I do remember one of his first or second match. I'm like, yo, this dude's good for real. And then once he started to talk, it became better and better. So yeah, you're absolutely right about that one. I do. That's a good call.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. All right, so moving on from one Samoan to another Samoan. I wanted to bring this up real quick. It's just a real quick thing. Jimmy Uso over the Miz. Jimmy Uso slapping the shit out of Gunther, and then Jimmy yeeting and stuff like that. And like I said, I missed Raw this past week, and all of a sudden Jimmy Uso's yeeting. So I don't know what I missed here, but what's going on with Jimmy Uso? Are they going to give him a little bit of a push here, or is this just like kind of helping Jay out a little bit, like him talking about Jay and Gunther, and saying he's going to take down Gunther, and Jay's going to take down? Like, is this just something like that, or are they building Jay up, or building Jimmy up, or Jimmy screwed Jay so many different times? I mean, who knows? I mean, wouldn't that be a kick in the ass if all of a sudden Jimmy goes out there and Jay's like, yeet, and Jimmy's out there, because let's say the other lad from Imperium, whose name I can't think of right now, the Slinky with the Kaiser, he comes out there to help Gunther for some reason, and they have Jimmy come out there and he kicks Gunther in the chops or whatever, and he and Jay are eating, and all of a sudden Jimmy kicks Jay in the groin or whatever. That seems to be the popular thing to do. Nobody would ever see that coming. I mean, as many times as he screwed Jay over, but right now they seem to be in unison. I think that would be something, but I don't think it's going that way. I'm just saying that's just me spinning wheels in my head. That's that gerbil going. And but anyway, what were your thoughts on Jimmy getting over on Miz? And are they going to give Jimmy a push, or is this just kind of like the whole playing off the Jay stuff? What were your thoughts? Eddie, we'll start with you this time.
I think my friends Kurt and Larry would call on their show the other night about when Jay had tripped. What I said about that, I think Jimmy tripped him. I think this is setting up. I think this is setting up for Jimmy screwing Jay big time at Mania. They never had that. They never had that one-on-one match when Jimmy turned on Jay the first time around.
I thought they did have a one-on-one match.
Had that one-on-one match at Mania.
But it was like,
it was
a bad match. It was not a good match. I think they're due for like a real program with each other.
Ooh.
Well, I will give you that. They never really had a program because I think they're each on were they each on different shows then right away or not?
Yeah.
I don't know, but they never really had a build up to it. It's just you would
Yeah, it
have
was just
Jimmy show up and
bloodline.
screw Jay over. Basically, that's all you were getting. And occasionally Jay would show up on Jimmy's show, and that's all you were getting out of it. But still, it would be a hell of a surprise.
Yeah. I'm going with this is just Jimmy helping Jay. They're helping Gash Jay. Obviously that's like I'm still always gonna stick to my guns. He was saying yeet before Jay was. It just stuck on. Jay just took it and carried it. But he was the originator of he wasn't the originator. The yeet came from the indies somewhere. I'm not exactly sure who did it first, but obviously they paid somebody really well so WWE can use it. I don't think they've ever disclosed who they took it from on the indie scene. But
Probably my boy Serious Business Andy Header.
oh, maybe who knows?
I don't know if you ever heard of Serious Business Andy
have.
Header.
I know who Andy Header is. I didn't know that was
Okay.
his nickname. I didn't know that was his nickname, but I do know that Andy
Serious
Andy
Business.
Header.
Yep. Yeah, I grew up with Andy. Good dude.
Okay.
But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so I think this is just them helping build Jay more and more. So yeah, I don't see him turning on him, but I do. I think Gunther's gonna do the old he's gonna beat the shit out of Jimmy this week, like really, really bad. And it's gonna like really set Jay off, that type of thing. Because obviously we seen Roman beat the living hell out of Jay before, and Jimmy kind of. So I think Gunther's gonna take it all out on Jimmy this week and basically say, like the old what is it, the old Rocky movies or the old Bloodsport when he basically tried to get. I remember Bloodsport when he killed him right in front of him.
Yeah.
He said, "This is gonna be you." So I think because Jimmy's on this real like, yo, I'm gonna take him down for you. Like I'm gonna prove he can be beat. And I think this is what happened. I think all in all, Jimmy goes out there and my boy gets killed on Monday Night Raw. Gunther's really going to put a really bad beating to him and basically say, this is going to be you next.
Stretcher job.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, you're right about that one.
Kurt?
I like what Larry said because, like we were saying, what I said earlier this week is I think the trip was intentional because I think it's going to play into him having doubts going into the match. So we're just giving him more doubts. He's going to demolish Jimmy. This is what I'm going to do to you. So he's doubting himself more. Like it's sort of, you compared it to Rocky. This is sort of what we're getting here. You know what I'm saying? The nice little underdog Rocky type story with Jay and Gunther.
Drago. Was his name Drago? Yeah, I mean.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it was Rocky 3 where I'm pretty sure where he was
Mickey
where
died.
when Mickey died. He was protecting Rocky. He was giving him not easy matches, but matches that he knew Rocky could handle, and he didn't want Rocky to fight Mr. T because Mr. T would kill him. Clubber Lang would kill him because Clubber Lang was a different type of fighter. He was a hungry fighter, and Rocky didn't realize he was being protected. So Rocky had doubts then. Rocky started having doubts, and he wanted to prove it, but he wasn't confident as confident as he was before, not knowing that. Now he has a little bit of doubt, creep into his mind. Then he gets killed by Clubber Lang. But I think a little bit of that was due to Mickey being pulled away and stuff like that. But he was getting his ass kicked before that, so it didn't really matter. Mickey died watching his boy get the snot beat out of him.
Yeah.
To me,
But anyway,
to me,
go
it's
ahead,
a little bit. It's a little bit of both Rocky 3 and Rocky 4. When the Rocky 3, the first part was the doubt, but then Rocky 4, when Gunther lays Jimmy down, it's gonna be like, if he dies, he dies. Moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with it. So yeah, we're on the same page, Eddie. The whole Dragunov, like if he dies, he dies. So I just have this feeling because, like I said, Jimmy's already smacked Gunther. Now, I mean, it was like the smack heard around the world, and then now he's like grabbing the microphone and says like, "Yo, like I got this. I'm gonna do this for my brother." And I do. I think Monday Gunther goes out there and slaughters him pretty bad. And then says like, yeah, this is going to be you next. So I think that's where, could be wrong, but I kind of got that little assumption by what they were.
I think
just by the topic.
I think if we put a poll up there of wrestling fans, a poll, I think you'd probably get like a 99% agree. I think that's how it's going to go, and I think it just makes sense for Gunther to go out there and just absolutely destroy Jimmy. I think it builds toward a storyline again. Jay, like, Jesus, he just did that to my brother. He just absolutely destroyed him, manhandled him, beat him in every which way possible. And like Eddie said, it's a perfect example there in Rocky IV, where Drago says if he dies, he dies. And again, I'll call back to Rocky. I think it was Rocky III when Rocky's training with Apollo, and he's not putting in that full effort. And then he's talking to Adrian, and Adrian's like, "What are you afraid of?" And he's like, "I'm afraid of losing." All right, stuff like that. And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking I'm through the Rock thing here. There we go. Because I mean, it's a great part in that movie. When he does that, it shows his vulnerability, and it's the same thing with Jay and Jimmy and Gunther here. It's all the same thing, which it's actually really cool. Go ahead.
And I think that goes along with the oh damn, I just had a thought there. I think it goes along there with the show LFG that comes on tomorrow night too. And Gunther's gonna be he's like their special guest on there. And I don't know if you've seen the previews for this, but he really was talking to them rookies like they were rookies. And I think that also plays into the show of him going out there with possibly Monday and adding a little something to it. So it could show because they like to add whatever they got on the shows outside. They don't want to take away from that. So if you've seen like the previews, like he talks to one of the rookies like, "Oh yeah, you're just here to try." Well, we don't care about people who try. I think tomorrow's episode is going to be really, really intense. If you guys have free time, I would say that would be a good one to watch tomorrow because Gunther's the type of trainer I like to talk to. He doesn't take any shit. But what does Mike say there?
Mike is saying, I don't know what the hell that noise is, but it's getting every time I talk. I've been saying Gunther versus Jay versus Jimmy three-way, as Jimmy, I think, loses to Gunther by DQ because of Jay, and Jay feeling bad for Jimmy getting DQ'd and gets Jimmy in the Mania match. I don't think so. I think it has to be a one-on-one match. I don't know. I don't know how that dynamic would go then. So what do you do? Because you want to win that title. If you did toss Jimmy in there for some reason, it would lead to that interesting dynamic of brother versus brother.
Yeah, but, nobody except for probably me really wants to see Jimmy win a world championship. I'm being 100% serious about that. Not too many people really want to see Jimmy win the world championship. It's just not his time. You know what I mean? Like I said, because Jay, there's a lot of factors in the Jay being in the position he's in, whether it's the entrance music, whether it's the handball, whether it's the yeet. Jimmy technically doesn't have any of that. And you know what I mean? And like I said, it starts with Jimmy's music. As much as I like that music, it doesn't fit Jimmy at all right now. And I think that's with a couple people in the WWE. I guess we'll get to that at a different time. But I think entrance music plays a lot into it. It just doesn't excite people like Jay's entrance music does. So, yeah, I think he's just there to be I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you. I'm going to be the big brother and push my little brother into this. And I think he might also help him win the championship. I think it'll be bigger if he does it by himself. But if Jimmy helps him, I think it would be a big deal for both of them.
Steven Selby says Jimmy needs it, and I think he'll definitely win. I assume you're talking about the title.
I think he's talking about Gunther on Monday. I think he thinks he just needs to win.
Okay, here it is. He's saying Jay, not Jimmy. I was super confused. I was like, I don't know. All right, Steve. I see you there, buddy. Steve, thanks for checking the show out. So I agree. I think Jimmy definitely does need it. I think he really needs it, just because it's kind of been like a long time coming, almost. Not to the extent of the Cody Rhodes story, which I'm so glad we don't have to talk about the Jimmy Uso or the Jey Uso story. That just drives me bananas. Like, I'm so sick of hearing about the Cody Rhodes story and all that stuff. And finishing the story and that nonsense. But anyway, I do think Jay. Now I'm confused. Now Jay needs it, just to kind of make this last year and a half or whatever it's been now, this run he's been on since he broke away from the bloodline to make it worth it. To really to get that big payoff for that whole split. I really do think he needs it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he needs it. I just think they need to strike while the iron's hot. I mean, I just learned that a long time ago. You're never going to get him this hot again. I know he was hot during that little Roman phrase during COVID and all that, but he didn't have this entrance music then. He didn't have the hand thing. He has layers now. Obviously, we don't think the wrestling's super impressive, but I mean, honestly, he was doing the same shit now that he was doing 3 or 4 years ago with Roman. He's not doing anything different other than he added some layers to the character, you know what I mean, outside the ring wise. So, but yeah, I learned a long time ago, even sometimes if you think some people aren't ready for a championship, you have to kind of just put it on them and let it go. Because, I mean, like I said, he's never going to be this hot again, merchandise wise and everything wise. So I totally understand it. You're going to have to strike for a couple months and then put him back to where he belongs in the mid card area, because that's really what he is.
Like I say all the time, my nickname for him is mid card Jey Uso. So that's what I look at him as. Which and like you're absolutely right, Larry. You got to strike while the iron is hot. This will probably be the hottest he'll ever be in his career. Cash in, man. Cash in, WWE cash in, Jay cash in, Uso, future Usos cash in. It's life-changing type of currency coming in right now.
It is
for him. So
absolutely.
All right. So moving on from that to the final segment in SmackDown Friday night, you had the CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins contract signing, where we didn't see anybody really getting at it. The show did end while they're still in the ring, chit chatting, at least on YouTube TV. I don't know where else you guys watch it, if it extended out anywhere else, but yeah, so they're still in the ring, jabber jawing at each other when it cut out. But CM Punk came in and he's I thought it was hilarious. He's rummaging through the paper, and the one-liners coming from Roman Reigns were fantastic. Like, what are you looking for? It's it's page 4, subtext 5 or whatever, whatever he went into. He goes, it's in there. And then he told Paul, he said, wise man, go over and show him, talk some sense into your boy. And that's when Paul Heyman came over, got down on one knee next to Punk, and he said, it's in there. He said, you will be main eventing WrestleMania, your boyhood dream to main event. It's in there. And then you gave him a little smooch on the forehead, and CM Punk had the tears and stuff. And that just sent Seth Rollins through the freaking roof. And I loved it. Seth Rollins was fantastic in this. He didn't sit down. He was up the whole time because he's pissed off. I thought that was a great show as well. If he would have sat down, it wouldn't be as demonstrative. With him standing up, is more just demonstrative, more angry looking. He's pacing like a caged lion. I thought that was fantastic. CM Punk with the emotions was fantastic. Roman Reigns with the one-liners and the smiling and the seriousness, and telling CM Punk to I got you this, you need to acknowledge me, and then I acknowledge CM Punk almost mocking him a little bit, in a mocking or sarcastic tone. That whole segment I thought was fantastic, and nobody went through a table as far as we've seen. Again, I didn't see any footage for afterwards. But I thought that was fantastic. Who did we start with last time? Whoever wants to take it, just take it. Whoever wants to take it, take it.
It's pure cinema. Everybody's playing their role well. Yeah, and it messes me up where I see people online saying like, "Oh, why do we have this match? There's no story in this." I'm like, where do y'all not see the story with these 3 men? We have Seth and Roman, which goes back 12 years. We have Punk and Roman, which you have Heyman in the middle of that. That's so much that can go on there. And then we have Punk, Seth, and Roman, because we got to remember they came out as Punk Shield when we first saw them. Like, the story is there. It's all there.
They've all been intertwined in some way or another for the last decade plus.
So I'm not mad at this being the main event. The contract signing just has me that much more hype. and then the plot twist at the end. Like the main event's not the favor, so what are
No.
we waiting for?
Did any of you guys think that was the favor then? Like when Heyman says it's in there, because I thought, I'm like, is that the favor? I'm like, is that it? Like, I thought it would have been something more spectacular. And then Punk's like, that's not the favor. I'm like, and Paul's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the soap opera of it, because
Yeah.
I mean, once Roman started, like you said, man, I think you hit everything on the head about the promo, Ken. The one-liners, Seth not sitting down and being completely livid, Punk ruffling, because Punk's the only person who looked through all the paperwork. I was sitting here laughing before Roman even started his one-liners. I'm like, why is this dude looking through the paperwork? I'm like, what's the whole point of this? And then he's like, he hits him with the Adam Sandler line, from Billy Madison. He was like, today, Junior. He was like you said, it's in there, chapter 5. So I kind of thought that's what they were alluding to. And then, like you said, him being very sarcastic, getting down on the one knee, bringing up the Olafala, like you said, the chili pepper necklace. As you call it, I've learned tonight that you call it the chili pepper necklace.
That's what I call it.
He was being very sarcastic and then said, I mean, obviously, like I said, I kind of felt like, yeah, that's okay. So that's how they're gonna do it. Oh, he's gonna main event WrestleMania, and then obviously he says no. There's more. So yeah, we're gonna get this also. We're gonna get this shit all summer long. So what I mean, buckle your safety belt this way and buckle it across here, and there's a lot of storytelling here. And like you said, Kurt hit it on the head too. Both you guys so far hit it directly on the head. I mean, no matter what, the story is there, but just Paul Heyman in general, the story's there. Like you said, the whole Shield, Rollins and Punk and Rollins and Roman and Punk, it's all there. So I can't imagine where they're going to take this, but we have our assumptions. I guess that's what I'll say till we get to prediction days.
Eddie, your thoughts?
I can only see. I can see it was outstanding. Heyman was great. Like he is always, his facial expressions. Roman basically being the smart ass of the three. To me, this has two ways of going. Heyman turning on Roman and Punk to join Seth, or he just turns on Roman and joins Punk.
I think their egos are all too big to join with anybody. I think obviously sooner or later somebody's going to work with somebody in some point, but it's not going to be a true full-fledged alliance throughout the match, and then they go at each other. I think it's just you'll get an occasional, they'll both throw somebody into the ropes and double clothesline, and all of a sudden the other one kicks the other one in the gut and goes for like a DDT or something. You know what I mean? It's not going to be anything like a 5-minute work together, we're friends again kind of thing. Each one of these guys have huge egos where they've hated each other for quite a few years now, and you're not going to see any kind of multi-move skill set between two guys. Just I don't think so anyway.
That's where Heyman comes in and screws over two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's worked with Roman, he's worked with Punk. I think it's time for him to work with Seth. There's been talks about Seth, KO, and Drew McIntyre as forming a little group.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like Roman's kind of been treating Paul a little badly lately.
He looks at him a little bit funny.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually treat him bad, but he looks at him. He just looks at him like, yeah, because I mean, obviously he's looking at him like that because CM Punk is around again.
Yeah, he doesn't trust Paul because I think he knows how far back Punk and Paul go, and then just to add a layer to that is the favor.
And Punk says it too. Says it too. Sorry, Ken. Punk says it too. He said something like he knows that he's not, or he said it. That's what he said on Raw. If you missed that part, he did say he knows Roman knows that Paul is not only his wise man. He alluded to him being his wise man as well. So that's why he's always kind of side eyeing Paul. So we're definitely on to something there.
Yeah, he doesn't. There's not the full trust there as there was during the hot run of the Bloodline and stuff like that when Roman was champion. I think anyway.
Yep.
So, all right, we got one last topic to discuss, and we get the hell out of here.
All right.
WWE Hall of Fame. They're doing something new this year. I assume year after year now, moving forward, where they're adding matches to their Hall of Fame. And the first match to be inducted, I don't remember what they call it, a moment or a WrestleMania moment or what the hell they call it. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, is the Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart match for the, was that for the Intercontinental Championship or something like that? Or is
No
that for a title? No title.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, it's the iconic match where Stone Cold's in the sharpshooter and the blood is running down his face, and what a great shot. He doesn't give up, and he leaves pushing people away. They're gonna help him off, and he's stumbling around. People are just cheering for him. So what do you call it? That you call that the double turn? Everybody calls that the double turn. Eddie mentioned it while we were off the air. So that was the double turn match, and that set Stone Cold on a path of just immortality. It started with the Austin 316 says I whipped your ass at the King of the Ring. This took it to a whole different level. I mean, this really just shot it up, and it turned Bret Hart basically to a heel, I think, right? I mean, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure this kind of turned to everybody hating Bret, and kind of led to him making some weird ass choices afterwards. Go ahead.
Except for Canada, that was the only place that cheered for Bret.
Yeah, that was actually the most I liked Bret Hart, to be honest. That was when he switched.
That was the most personality he's ever shown.
Good call. You're honestly right.
The only thing I didn't like, I was kind of sick of hearing him saying, I got screwed. And I just kept saying it. And the way he would say it, and you kind of look around, it's like, I got screwed.
Oh yeah, I thought that was
all right, Brad. Okay, we get it. All right.
I felt like that was the best version of the Hart Foundation, even though because that's when they had O and they had the whole crew.
Yeah, the Bulldog, O and Anvil.
Yeah, and then like he said, that set Stone Cold off on a whole nother dimension. It turned Bret heel, but like you said, it brought out the best personality that Bret ever had. Oh man, and then like I said, I mean, some of the promos with like the Nation of Domination and the Hart Foundation. It brought out honestly brought out the best in Bret. But I think this is going back to your actual question for it. I think this is awesome that you're putting some matches into the Hall of Fame, because I mean, I can think of 3 or 4 matches just boom, 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 like just my favorite matches. So you know what I mean? I'm thinking Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, the first one, and they were both great. But Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, the first one. I always go back to Eddie Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio at Halloween Havoc. I think that's a classic match. Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. Opening up, I forget what was that, the Great American Bash. I want to say it was for a U.S. title. That's a great match. And man, it sucks. There's matches like, was it Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and you'll never see this match, but wasn't it Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Chris Benoit at WrestleMania at one point in time? That match was gold. That was pure gold. Someone brought that up, but that's a match that you'll never get to the Hall of Fame just because of the situation itself. But man, I think this is a great idea to add to the element of the Hall of Fame.
You're forgetting the great Eddie against Ray Cassidy for Dominic match.
Oh yeah, that
wins in that one.
Yeah, nobody wins in that one. We're still trying to figure shit out from that. We still don't know the actual winner of this match.
Michael says, can someone tell me the reason why WrestleMania is so late in April this year? That's actually a good question.
I did see a memory come up on Facebook today. We were watching WrestleMania. It was probably like 10 years ago today.
I saw that too. We was together, wasn't we, Kurt? Was we somewhere
Yeah,
together actually watching WrestleMania
probably,
together?
but I
Yeah.
think they want to start doing it a little bit later. I don't know why.
Maybe warmer weather because of Philadelphia last year being so cold. Um, yeah, that it is a good question. It's getting later. Usually, it's like the first week of April or something.
Yeah, it's either late March or early April, and now it's in the. I guess you consider that late April almost. April 19th and 20th. So that's on the back half
Is
Yeah.
of
Ma-
April there.
is
So
is Mania outdoors or indoors?
it's
Uh,
always outdoors. It seems like now.
Vegas.
Well, it's the Legion Stadium, so it's indoors.
Either
So
or,
it's
right?
indoors this year. Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
indoor stadium. So yeah, 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 because last year, like I said, Philadelphia was so cold that they were complaining about it. So maybe they are going to try to push for a later schedule. That way, I mean, my birthday's in April, late April. So, it's still usually you never know what kind of weather you're gonna
Right,
get.
right. They just
Um,
need to stay away from the West Coast.
who said they need to stay away from what the West Coast or East Coast?
Yeah, East Coast. I meant the East Coast.
East
Stay
Coast,
away
yeah.
from
I
the
mean,
West
I don't
Coast.
think they should stay away. They just like you said, man. You just have to watch. This weather's tough. You never know what you're gonna get.
Well, and that's something they could alternate it too. Like when they're on the West Coast or down south, they could always do it early April or late March because it's weather's just right. Or they could always when it's on the East Coast, Northeast, they could just move it back a couple of weeks, and usually you can get the 70s or 60s at least the 60s at night anyway, because these are night matches. So maybe you can just late April, but then again, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they just want to do it on Easter. Like it'd be a fun time to have WrestleMania on Easter weekend, and Easter weekend falls. I think that's that weekend. So
Yeah. Oh
they're like,
yeah.
oh, the hell with it. Let's go late April. Yeah, the hell with it.
Well,
I don't know.
because it's legal in Vegas. You know what I mean? Number one, it's legal. It's legal in Vegas. So, I mean, what's there better to do than eat ham, eat stuffing, smoke, and enjoy wrestling? I
Yeah,
mean,
420. Yeah, 420. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
oh yeah. See, that's what I thought you was talking about.
No, I was talking about Easter. It's Easter weekend.
See,
Eat your chocolate bunnies.
no, oh no, I'm sorry.
Have some of that sweet Mary Jane, and then
Yeah, man.
watch some wrestling.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean, that's what Thanksgiving's for. You know what I mean? What do? You eat, sleep, smoke. You know what I mean? Watch football. And so I
Yep.
guess maybe they're going to try to get you, to, you know what I mean? Smoke, watch wrestling, and relax. Yeah, I just what he says. How about doing Mania in dome stadiums or warm weather states like the NFL? I mean, yeah, that's what they're kind of do, but you don't want to leave this side of the country. You don't want to leave this kind of country like this included from being able to be part of Mania. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because who knows when they're going to be back over on this side again? I think they're going to be over in New Orleans next year, so it's going to be over there twice. You know what I mean? So, WrestleMania is already pretty much hard to afford as is. So imagine having to take plane tickets, hotel tickets, always over to the West Coast. It's just they have to spread it out.
Yeah. I think they'd be missing a huge opportunity if they just did limit it to warm weather states or whatever. I mean, I think the NFL's missing out on a huge opportunity when they limit to warm states. They did New York City 1 year, and that was it, right? I don't think
Yeah.
they've been to the Northeast since then. And
Yeah.
I think it was if I remember correctly, it wasn't bad weather. I think it was just a little bit cool. I mean, it wasn't even cold. If I
Well,
remember, it was like probably in the 40s.
well,
I mean,
football weather is cold, and
it's
it is
supposed to be,
right.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind
I,
of
I think they're more worried about weather, like rain, snow, anything like that. With fans in attendance and also with the product on the field, they want the best product possible. But with wrestling,
You're right.
it's different because you can cover the ring, different ways. I mean, it doesn't mean it's still going to get with that. People got
Yeah,
to walk down to the ring and stuff like that. And
last year they were freezing. Remember,
yeah,
and they were even saying it because I remember McAfee and them was joking, like, "Hey, man, he got gloves on. Like, he got gloves on out here." And they're like, "Yeah, man, it's cold as hell out here." And then I remember they were saying some of the matches were struggling because they were so cold. Because it's honestly hard to perform. I mean, you got to figure some of these guys are barely wearing underwear out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then you're dumping water on yourself, before you get out there. Cause I know a lot of people like to dump water on themselves before they get out there to cool themselves down. You don't want to cool yourself down when it's already like 30 degrees out there and the wind is blowing. Cause yeah, I've done that before. It's not the smartest thing to do in cold weather, but you're thinking like, I want to cool myself down. I'm gonna dump a little water on myself. No, I'm freezing. So
Oh shit, it's cold out here.
yeah, it's really fucking cold, bro. So yeah, maybe that is why they're trying to just keep away from there. I just like you said, maybe they just have to try to make it a little bit later in April, closer to May when it could possibly be warm. So maybe that's why they're making this change.
Yeah, Mike said just do indoor arenas in the Northeast states and no outdoor arenas. But the only problem with that, the arenas are smaller venues. Usually your arena is like a hockey arena or basketball arena. You're looking at 15 to 20,000 seats, and your WrestleManias, they're looking for much, much bigger. They're looking for
75,000.
Yeah, they're looking
75,000, 100,000.
Yeah, your stadiums, those are the ones where they want WrestleManias at, and SummerSlams and stuff like that, where they can hold 75,000 or more. But you're looking at your indoor arenas. It's the most you usually get is probably 20, 25,000. And that was the one big thing we talked about it here actually on the Atomic Drop when we had Sergeant Slaughter's daughter on last year. When they talked about when they moved WrestleMania from the LA Coliseum to the Staples Center. One of the big issues was safety, at the Coliseum because all the bomb threats. And the other thing was they weren't selling tickets, and they felt like they could sell out the smaller arena much easier than they could sell out the big stadium. So, and then the small arena, they ended up having, I think, 25,000 or something like that. And it was a sellout, and it wasn't as spectacular as it should have been, but they still had to sell out. They still had the visual of everybody filling every seat that they want.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right about that, Ken. It just you lose 50,000 people. Yeah, I mean that's a shit ton of people to be losing when you're dropping down to an arena. So yeah, you're 100% right about that. It's going to be hard to take it out. Once they started the football stadiums, that they knew they were on the sun.
Yeah,
you can't out top that.
Hey Larry, you forgot one thing about Vegas. Vegas also has a lot of clubs that is ran by the Godfather.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Out there.
Man, that's up and down the street, man. I was just there a couple years ago, man. That's easy pickings, man. You come out your hotel, they're right there standing there waiting for you. You don't have to do much, boy. It's actually quite interesting to see.
So real quick, if you're interested in a hoe train, do not call Jason Fine. But if you're interested in getting help for motor vehicle accidents or slip and falls, workman's comp, or personal injury claims, reach out to Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Big Al is you can reach him at 1-800-HURT-123, 1-800 blessed 1-800-HURT-123. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. His office in New Jersey is located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. He has 2 offices located in Pennsylvania, one in Pittsburgh, and that's at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151, and one in Philly, located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's our boy, Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Make sure you let him know that you're part of the Out of the Box Sports family, and he'll hook you up with a great deal. Hey, there I hear an echo. All right. So that's all I have for today. Guys, anything else you guys want to add to this real quick before we get the hell out of here and enjoy the rest of our Saturday evening?
I'm
good.
No, I ain't got much to say. I'm sure me and Kurt will touch on a couple things that we didn't touch on the part-time marks this week. Maybe touch on the Naomi and Jade situation. Thought that promo was awesome. I'm sure me and Kurt will tap in a couple things on Tuesday night. So if everybody can check in with us, you know where we'll be.
Yes, be sure to check out the part-time marks. That's Tuesday night, 10:30 p.m. Our guys right here. There they are. So, yeah.
That's us.
They're handsome in person and on cartoon. Look at that.
Man, thank you, brother, man.
All right, and you can check me out. I'll be live Tuesday, 9 a.m., Wednesday, 9 a.m., and next Friday, 9 a.m. Or no, I'm going to go Friday night again. I thought that was better than 9 a.m. I'm tired at 9 a.m., so I don't want to go live at 9 a.m. But anyway, we got another comment, last comment before we get out of here. Michael says, what are your feelings on AEW running the Licarius Arena? I don't know how to say that for Dynasty at Temple. You think AEW would be running a bigger venue?
They haven't been selling tickets. They haven't been filling the bigger venues, so it's a great move for them to start doing these smaller venues. So, I mean, why would you keep booking big arenas and you're not filling the seats?
Yeah, it's a bad look.
Yeah, the only arenas when they sell out like 10,000 plus is at like pay-per-views, not like any of their regular TV shows.
It's like
they
the voice of God. Where's that coming from?
Well, that's quite interesting. I thought he wasn't here.
Oh, he's still here. Eddie, are you still here? Eddie, come
I'm
into
here.
the light, Eddie. Eddie,
I'm here.
Oh, there. Oh, he's here somewhere. It's like
All
the
right.
Poltergeist movie. Jesus Christ, I'm terrified right now.
But like I said, I've been trying to keep up with it a little bit. It's harder for me too. But yeah, they obviously it's smarter. You're gonna have to run smaller venues if you really want to make the money that you're supposed to be making. They just need to stop being focused on the competition and focused on what they got, because it's clearly the talent's clearly there. There's things that's clearly there. You can't deny what's going on over there. So they need to just focus on their product and bring down. They need to focus on their product and do what's best for them business wise. So it's smaller arena. Stop focusing on the competition. Stop trying to kill each other every single week and thinking that's what every wrestling fan really wants to see, because that's not what we want to see. I want to watch wrestling. I don't want to watch people like life on the line every single week.
Yeah, I agree. It makes total sense. I mean, so hopefully that answered your question there. I think that was Michael, right?
Yep, that was Mike.
Yeah, that was Michael. Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question. It's a great question. It's a great point. I mean, I don't watch AEW to know any difference, so I'm not going to really comment on it. It's common sense.
It's hard enough for you to keep up with everything right now, Ken. So if you tried to dig into AEW too, it would be a lot on your plate, man.
Oh my God!
I mean, you're already struggling to try to keep up with everything going on throughout the week in WWE. So to even add in a whole, I don't want to call it all a dumpster fest of wrestling, because I know I always take shots at it, but because I love wrestling. But to try to add that into your brain too, it's just a whole lot. Because I was watching it for weeks at a time, and I'm still asking Curtis, but wait a minute, this isn't making sense to me. And he's like, well, that's because they haven't done anything for 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, I thought we just watched him. He was like, no, that was 2 weeks ago. So for you trying to try to cram this into your mind too, honestly, bro, it's not worth it. I mean, I know you're a big wrestling fan. It's not at all something you want to try to cram into your brain. We might be able to say, hey, keep an eye on this person, but don't try to follow the whole show, man. You'll drive yourself bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Foster.
Foster Covers checking in. What's up, Foster? Everything's well with us here, as far as I know. Anyway, everything's good with me.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everything's well with you. Hopefully, I believe you're a Cubs fan. Hopefully, your Cubs do well this year, except for against the Mets. Jim Life checking in. What's up, Jim? It's good to see you guys live tonight. Thanks, Jim, for checking out the show. We're just getting ready to get off here, so be sure to check out the reruns. We're like Lucy, check it out. I love Lucy here. We'll be eating chocolate and wine and all over the place. But yeah, my plate's full. I have a hard time catching Raw and SmackDown, and I couldn't add, AEW, and I keep saying to myself, I want to check out NXT, but I got to make sure I check out the Mets, the Kings, and the Raiders stuff. It's just, I just went through another notebook here. It's crazy. My daughter's softball. I got the little guy, his first minor league baseball game's coming up this week. And my youngest daughter, her first practice is coming up this week. My youngest daughter. So it's.
You got a lot on your plate, man. So if you try to add NXT Yeah, just leave NXT up to us. We'll keep you up to date. We'll tell you who's coming to the main roster. Yeah, you got a lot on your plate, so adding AEW in there. Like I said, I've tried to add AEW and TNA in there, and at one point I was like, you know what? I'm exhausted on wrestling. This is I'm literally watching wrestling every single day. I'm exhausted. So I kind of took a break from like TNA. Well, actually, I did watch a little bit this week, but I want to say I took a break for 2 weeks, and then I took a break where AEW is, I probably only get lured into that now. Somebody's like, hey, this is happening. Like, I just turned it on the other day when Moxley was landing on that wooden spike. I'm sure you probably seen that on the internet.
Everybody's seen that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't, our buddy Josh that always jumps on, he kind of told me he was watching AEW, and I was like, I'm not even watching it. And he said it was for a championship. He said it was Moxley and things. So, man, I turned it on, and I shit you not, 3 minutes later, he was landing on that wooden spike. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? So I was just like, this is a waste. This is garbage.
It was rough.
Pro wrestling should be believable. That's not believable.
Well, it really happened though, Eddie. It really happened. I mean, believable or not.
But you know
really
what? When you got guys like Rob Van Dam saying this, it's garbage and it's no good. There's a problem. I mean, he came from ECW, so he just put it out the other day like it's garbage over there. So that's letting you know it's we're not crazy when we're saying that it's no good over there, because you got guys who came from the hardcore era, who invented hardcore, who's like, yeah, that's not good.
Who am I going to listen to? Rob Van Dam or Dave Meltzer when it comes to wrestling?
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to Rob Van Dam. I don't listen to Dave Metzler on anything.
Done it.
I don't listen to Metzler. I don't listen to the other idiot, Vince Russo. I don't listen to any of those guys. I'll listen to you guys. I listen to you guys' opinions first, because it's actually thought out. It's actually thought out, and it isn't hatred. So,
well, I'll tell you who you guys should listen to. You guys should listen to these guys.
Yes.
Now, Tuesday night, 10:30 p.m. All right. If you want something that's makes sense and it is opinionated, not because, like you said, because of hatred or whatever, it makes sense. So
we try.
And also next week, be sure to check us out again here Saturday night, 9 or 10 p.m. We'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at then. So stay tuned for that. Myself, you'll have the Kings on Tuesday, 9 a.m. The Batcave Wednesday, 9 a.m. And like I said, the Silver and Black Layer Raiders, that'll be next week, Friday, either 9 a.m. or at night. We'll see what happens there. See how I'm feeling later in the week. Usually by Friday, I'm kind of wore out a little bit. But now this is it. This is the last comment, and then we're heading out of here. This is it. Jim said I was just at the old ECW arena last weekend. So
yes. Jim always tunes into us. So shout out, just real quick, he was at the ECW arena last weekend. His son was actually boxing there. And I want to say that might have been his first official match, but his son laid into the kid. It was all over Facebook. He laid him down. So his son got his first official win. So congratulations, Cal. Congratulations, Jim. Two good dudes. Jim Life, Ganja Graphics. Like I said, we don't have our shirts on this week, but Jim Life does make our merchandise and stuff like that for us. So congratulations to you and your son, man. And hopefully I get to see your son win one of these fights here soon. Maybe I'll have to ride to Philadelphia with you if we have to.
All right. Yeah, Ganja Graphics. Check them out. All right. Thank you, everybody, for checking the show out. I appreciate it. And until next weekend, do your thing. Just keep on living, I guess. I don't know what the hell else to say, how to finish it off, but yeah. Yeet! There we go.
Atomic drop.
There we go. Yeah, I like that one. All right, where the hell's the music? There it is.